It's the return of the goddess. It's the return of feminine energy and power, of love. And if you want to understand what all of this means, well, stay tuned and watch. This is Alexandra Villarroel Abrego, and I welcome you to AlexandraTV, where every Wednesday I share with you the best coaching strategies and techniques to create the life of your dreams and to become the best version of yourself. Now, make sure, of course, you are subscribed to this channel because you don't want to miss the next episodes that come out every single Wednesday. And also for the next few days, every day, because for the release of my book, Beyond Beauty, well, until March 14th, 2017, I will be posting a new video here on AlexandraTV every single day. Videos that will talk about all the topics that I write about in my book, Beyond Beauty. Now, of course, you want to make sure also that you pre-ordered Beyond Beauty and that you pre-order it before March 14th, because if you do, then I'm giving you 2 free programs that are about the things and the teachings that I talk about in this book. One is called Full Feminine Power Now, and the other one is called The Goddess Circle. They are at a value of $700, but I'm giving them for free to anyone who pre-orders Beyond Beauty. So you definitely want to pre-order it now and not have to pay $700 once the book comes out, right? So make sure you go do that. In the description down below this video, you will find the link. Just click on it and you will have more information. We've been living in a patriarchal society for about 2,000 years now. But before we were in a patriarchal society, there was a time when we were living in a matriarchal society. This was way before science was even invented. It was a time when men and children would see women as magical beings. They would see them as goddesses because we were able to give birth. And because science didn't exist yet, well, they didn't understand how women were able to birth a human being and it was able to come out of them, and it didn't see the link, of course, between men and women. Then science was invented. But when science was invented, instead of seeing childbirth as something that both men and women collaborate in, well, they started saying that women, all we were was just like the egg, was just like the vessel through which the baby was born, and that in reality, it was from the man that the child would come. So they didn't even see women as part of it. They just see them as really the eggshell, really, and that was it. And that's when slowly but surely men started to take all the power. They started to, instead of collaborate, they started to want to compete, and they started to want to say, hey, it's all on us. We are able to give birth, really. We are able to create a child. Women, all they do is they're just the vessel through which the child is born. So in reality, we should be the ones in power. And that's how the patriarchal society started to form. Now, the problem with the patriarchal society that started to form back then and that we're living in today is that it puts masculine energy on a pedestal and it diminishes feminine energy. Everything that is feminine, everything that is in the characteristics of the feminine energy is seen as less than, really. But everything that is masculine is seen like, oh yes, you have to be more like that, really. It is applauded. And that is the problem of the patriarchal society that we live in. When the patriarchal society started to form around like 2,000 years ago, what happened is that religion started to form. Before that, there wasn't any religions, but then religion started to form. And then what happened is that the priests and the kings and queens started to say, hey, we don't want everyone to know all of the things that these women are teaching everyone about healing with herbs, about energies, about the law of attraction. We don't want, the peasants in our villages to know about that, because if they do, then they could take maybe all of our gold. They could take all of our goods. So what we have to do is that we have to create these organizations where we're going to have all this knowledge, when we're going to have all the money. As a matter of fact, we're even going to ask the peasants to give us their money, their hard-earned money, and we're going to keep all of that for us. Now, there's some courageous women back then who said, no, that is not fair. Life is about collaboration, not about competition. Once again, the feminine energy. But unfortunately, what happened after is that these women started to be persecuted. They started to call them witches. That's what happened with the witches of Salem. These women were simply women who, when the patriarchal society began, when religion began, well, they rebelled. And they said, no, we still want to keep our power. We understand, our power and the energy and how we can all create our destinies and our lives within us, really. And they would start to get together at night because it was the only time where they could actually reunite to talk about this, really. But then they started to chase them down and they eventually burned these women. However, some of these women that the priesthood and that kings and queens machines we're calling witches survived, and they passed on their knowledge from generation to generation to generation until today. And today we are living in very exciting times. In 2012, a year that a lot of people thought was going to be the end of the world, well, it wasn't. It was the beginning of a new era, the Age of Aquarius in astrological ages. Every 2,000 years, we enter a new age. The Age of Aquarius is called the Age of the Goddess because this is the time when the goddess can come back and will come back and has to come back. Because if it doesn't, well, the world will end after this age. There won't be any more ages after that. And that has been predicted many times with the Mayans, with the Mayan calendar. It has been predicted in astrology. So it is very important to bring back the goddess. It is predicted that in this age, we will come back to what was back then the matriarchal society, which is all about collaboration, which is all about compassion, which is all about nurturing and caregiving. But once again, when you are in a matriarchal society, well, there's no more competition. So we embrace masculinity as well. Now, of course, in my book, Beyond Beauty, there's an entire chapter that talks about this, that really dives into this topic about the history of all of this matriarchal society, of patriarchal society, of how, you know, in reality, we are all witches and we all have these powers within us and we have to embrace them. So if you want to learn more, make sure you go pre-order the book, and you're also going to have access to the 2 programs if you pre-order before March 14th. In the comment section down below, well, let me know what you think. Let me know also if you have more information, if you've also studied these topics, if you've taken the time to really dive into the history of the world and not just the past 2,000 years, but way before that and what was happening before that. If you like this video, also don't forget, of course, to like, don't forget to share it with the world. More people need to know about the return of the goddess. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, and there's going to be a new video tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.